Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I had a little bit of free time in the past little bit, so I made a video intro. So let's do that right now. Okay, so anyway, now the stupidity is out of the way. I had this idea where I wanted to do a video where I sort of did a series of videos, because that seems to be like the new thing that everybody's doing right now, where or a series, I guess. So I wanted to do a series of why, why I did everything chronologically from the beginning to now, and sort of talk about the thought process behind it all, and if if anyone has any questions along the way or help anybody out, I thought that's what we would do. So the first one is pretty straightforward. Nothing too much like life advice, medical school residency advice type stuff, but sort of just my general why did I go into medicine. And there's two parts of my life where I analyzed that question of myself. So we root it back. Everyone in medicine has a medicine story. Mine is rooted way back to childhood, where I had a super cool uncle. I still do. I have a super cool uncle who, growing up for me, he was sort of like the cool guy. He's like 6'5". He's like super nice. Everybody loves him, and he is one of the most intelligent people that I've ever met. As I was growing up, I knew that he was in I want to say residency, because I don't think I was old enough when he was in medical school. But by the time he was in residency, everybody from my family to his friends to his colleagues to anyone who really knew him kind of like worshipped everything that he did. He was just like the nice guy, but he was so smart, and just like people like being around him, people like working with him. And again, at the end of the day, he was a really good I'll say resident, because I think he was a resident when I kind of tuned into his medical journey. And then he ended up going through residency as an orthopedic surgeon, and he became a joint replacement specialist after some fellowship training. So all he does is hip and knee replacements, and is one of the top orthopedic guys in his field. He had some like crazy impressive training at the University of Pittsburgh, which is one of the top medical schools in the country, and anything this guy did kind of just like turned to gold. And I saw that progression, and I saw the respect that he got from people, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a doctor, I want to be an orthopedic surgeon, and I want to be exactly like him. Because then he started progressing in his career, and selfishly as it is, then he started making a ton of money, because he's an orthopedic surgeon and they make way too much money. And that's kind of what sparked my I want to be a doctor interest, and I wanted to do it, and I wanted to be him, and I wanted to have 3 Hummers and a house on the beach, and just like everything that I ever wanted. So growing up as a kid into high school, that was my mentality. It was, I want to be an orthopedic surgeon, I want to be a doctor, I want to be impressive, I want to be rich, and I want to grow into that. Then I went into college, and college I had to toy a lot again with the medicine thing, because everybody who goes to college, everybody who starts in like the sciences is always like, well, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to start pre-med, and I'm going to like do it. So that's the group that I quickly fell into, and it just seemed like that was what I was supposed to do. That's what everybody in my group was supposed to do, and so we all started on that path. But slowly, as everybody else kind of chose other routes, we'll say, I saw many people lose interest in the medicine side of it, and a lot of them went straight science, and they did the research and the lab work, and they really fell in love with that, including 2 of my best friends that I made in college, all sort of took that route. So naturally, because I like, the group of people that you simulate with freshman year in college are the ones you think that you're like, you have to do everything with. So I was like, well, I'll do some research, because A, it'll look good on my medical school application, and it'll give me some science exposure, and I can see what research is about. I landed a summer internship at the University of Pittsburgh. I got published twice in one summer. I mean, I did a lot of research, and I did really well with it, but it never really was fulfilling to me. And so, I mean, I could do experiment after experiment and get data after data, and I didn't care necessarily. Whereas when my other friends would make these like breakthroughs in their science projects or their research data worked out and showed them something they wanted to see, it was like a huge event for them. For me, it was just like, yeah, it worked out. Okay, like let's piece this together. And when I thought about how my life would progress, if I went the lab route, I saw, I just saw like, working in a lab in a basement in a tower somewhere and like very minimal human interaction. And I missed that. And I missed the component of helping people. All right, so I ended up losing power to the GoPro. So we have to find an alternative thing to do. So real quick, let's just finish that story. So I found myself where dogs are back. So I found myself while I was in the lab thinking about my life, and I missed that human interaction. That's kind of where we left off, and I missed also the team, the team mentality that came with what I saw being a physician was. You have the nursing staff, PAs, case management, caseworkers, all of that, and with research, you were kind of just like by yourself in a basement. Is basically like how it worked for me, I guess, the couple of times that I did it. And that wasn't for me. So between watching somebody that I idolized, who was a family member, do really well with his career in medicine, and wanting to be that, to kind of having to rethink about it when people that were really close to me didn't take the same route, and second guessing it sort of that way. I found that ultimately all of that kind of came full circle and solidified my decision to continue to pursue it when I kept shadowing a couple. I shadowed an orthopedic surgeon and primary care doc, both when I was in when I was in college, and it was so cool to be there. Watching these people, changing people's lives, helping people feel better with the orthopedic, like helping these old ladies walk again and getting their function back and like getting on with their lives and feeling better. Like I loved all of that component to it, on top of making a ton of money. Okay, let's be real here. That's a large portion of my driving factor. With all that considered, those were kind of the two things that wrapped it all up into why I chose medicine. I chose medicine because I had a doctor in my life that I have nothing but the utmost respect for, who just happened to be a family member, and I really liked the interaction with people and solving people's problems and getting people feeling better, and getting and working with the medical team to come up with like these solutions to all these problems, and really just having it that way. So that in every itself is why I chose medicine. And once I decided that I wanted to do medicine, before the whole college fiasco happened, I had to decide where I was going to go to college and what I was going to major in. And that'll be part 2. That'll be the next one. So if you want to see part 2, stay tuned for another week or two. Push the subscribe button, like the video, and we will give it some views, so I know that this kind of stuff is fun for people to watch. And part 2 will be, why did I choose the college I chose? I think you can Google, I don't know. Why did I choose the college I chose? And we'll name it then. And why did I choose my major, which we'll talk about in a little bit more in depth, and continue along the course. So I also made an outro, which is ridiculous, and I'm super happy with it. So we'll play the outro right now. Please like, subscribe, tune in again, and we'll do part 2 next time. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.